Hey guys, Torsar here, back talking more sports. Let me tell you, I knew I wanted to make a video today, and I was trying to come up with topics last night, but that was taken care of for me overnight this morning whenever it happened. And I'm going to be honest, after looking at the views of my last video, I try not to focus on views too much. But obviously, if you do like a topic and it gets 100 views, and then you do another topic and it gets 13 views or whatever the number is, you got to say to yourself, maybe that wasn't the topic to do. But unfortunately, this is the big story right now, and that's James Harden getting traded to the Clippers. But before that, I want to continue on with my trivia series. So, today's trivia, and don't cheat. This one might not be too hard, especially for some of you older NBA fans. But what is the lowest seed to ever win an NBA championship? Also, give me the year it happened, not just the team. So I need the team, the seed that they did it at, and the year they did it in. Okay? So, that being said, James Harden was traded to the Clippers. Now, this was a very convoluted trade, so I'm just going to read on ESPN what the trade actually was real quick before I get into what I think is going to happen. Because it was very convoluted. So the LA Clippers acquired 10 times All Star James Harden in a blockbuster trade with the 76ers on Monday night. The 76ers sent Harden, PJ Tucker, and Philip Petrusev to the Clippers for Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nick Batum, KJ Martin, a 2028 unprotected first round pick, two second round picks, a 2029 pick swap, and this is where it gets kind of confusing, an additional first round pick from the Oklahoma City Thunder. So this actually was a three-team trade. I don't get why. I mean, I'm sure someone like Bobby Marks or Adrian Wojnarowski right here could explain it. Why? I know with the Oklahoma City Thunder, it probably had something to do with they needed to get back a 2026, so it broke that streak of you can only trade so many first round picks in a row. Either way, it just seems weird to me. The Clippers are sending a 2027 first round pick swap to Oklahoma City, clearing the way for the Thunder to move a protected 2026 first round pick to the Sixers. The Clippers are sending a 2024 and 2029 second round pick to the Sixers in the deal, too. And the Sixers will waive veteran guard Danny Green to create the roster space for the trade. So the main thing is for the Sixers, they are bringing back expiring contracts that keep them on track to potentially have as much as $50 million to $65 million in salary cap space next summer. So, with all that being said, obviously this was a good trade for the 76ers. They got back something. I thought at best they might get back one first round pick and maybe some seconds. I also wasn't planning on them actually adding in a serviceable player in PJ Tucker. So who knows what kind of value, and I don't know who the other player is. But PJ Tucker might add some sort of value where you threw in, that's where one of those extra first round picks or the pick swaps or whatever they value at. I mean, if the teams are part of the trade, Oklahoma City got something out of that. Like I said, you'd have to be a cap expert like a Bobby Marks to probably even understand all that or just delve far deeper into it than I want to. But either way, James Harden, the most important part, he's going to the Clippers. So the question is, will this work? And to what extent? Do you think it makes the Clippers better? Do you think it makes them maybe slightly better? Are they now some sort of Western Conference favorite? Or do you think it's a slight net negative? Or, like, I believe it's going to be an unmitigated disaster. Because you know who else plays for the Clippers, and that's Russell Westbrook. Now, what are you going to do with Russell Westbrook? Is he going to come off the bench? Is he going to start? it's James. Could you imagine trying to put James Harden on the bench and have him be the sixth man? I mean, he wasn't happy being the star in Houston. He wasn't happy being a third wheel or even the second wheel distributing in Brooklyn. He wasn't happy being a distributor and a second wheel in Philly. And you could say, oh, well, he was mad at Doc Rivers. He didn't, and then he got mad at Daryl Morey. But look at the numbers he put up in Game 6 and Game 7 last year in that series. The 76ers should have won that series. They were up 3-2. He was horrible. And if you put Russell Westbrook and James Harden over the last however many years, 6, 7, 8 years, those guys are 1 and 2 in turnovers. And Russell Westbrook just might be the worst 3-point shooting guard, hell, maybe the worst 3-point shooter in the entire NBA. That's not a very good backcourt, in my opinion. And then they're both can go into distributor mode, but one of them's going to have to score. And then you still got Kawhi Leonard and Paul George who you need to get involved. So your starting lineup is going to be Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Zubats, I guess. I think I just don't think it's going to go well for them. Plus, the fact that they gave up all these picks, right? They gave up second round picks, first round picks, protected, unprotected, whatever it is they gave up. They gave up also, Robert Covington, Nick Batum. They're not superstars. They're also not scrubs. These guys are serviceable players themselves. And now, all four of those superstar, whether you still want to consider them or not, they're all future Hall of Famers. They all have been superstars at some point in their career. All four of those guys, Russ, Harden, Kawhi, Paul George, hi Junebug, they are all free agents after this year. What are you going to do if this is an unmitigated disaster? And I know it only adds in one more thing. It's like, all right, well, Russ, Kawhi, and Paul George are already all going to be free agents. So, and then you just add in Harden. But Harden, that's the catalyst that can make this thing all go sideways really quickly. Because as I said in my last video, you could say, oh, well, other guys have demanded trades, but no one's done this 3 times now. This guy is a walking demanding trade. And it seems like sometimes you don't even have to do that much to set him off. So I don't think this is going to work out. I've never really been much of a fan of the Clippers anyway. It got tiring constantly having to hear from people like Skip Bayless and everyone else who was jumping on that bandwagon. And then seeing it happen with the Brooklyn Nets too, of like, oh, they're going to be so good, they're going to be so good. And it's like, nope, they're just paper champions in the heads of people who are champions in their own minds. If you're a fan of the team, I'm not talking about that. That's totally separate. If you're a Clippers fan, I expect you to think your team is going to win. That's what fans do. And who knows, I could be wrong. Like I said, I do like the fact they got PJ Tucker. He's been a very solid defensive player. He played with James Harden, for one, so they're familiar with each other. Obviously, he was with him on the Sixers, but he was played a very good part on that Milwaukee Bucks championship team from a couple years ago. So, we'll see, man. It's definitely gonna test Ty Lue's coaching acumen. And if he can get it done, if they do win the championship this year, I think he'll start to cement his legacy as a Hall of Fame coach. I'll give him credit for that. This definitely adds a degree of difficulty. He will start to get on that Phil Jackson-like level of ego management, if you get what I'm saying there. But anyway, if you didn't know the answer to the trivia, if you didn't cheat, look it up on Google. I'm going to give it to you now. It kind of goes today. I picked this trivia question for a reason because of what James Harden's second team was, the Houston Rockets. In 1995, in the vacuum that was left behind when Michael Jordan retired for a couple years, the Houston Rockets won the NBA championship as the sixth seed. Probably, it was like the Lakers last year. The Lakers really weren't, after the trade deadline, they really weren't a seventh seed, at least like strength wise. That year, Houston, I think they had a little bit of injury, concern or whatever. They had Akeem Olajuwon. They had, Clyde Drexler. Those guys were, really good players. I think Drexler was on that team, right? Pretty sure. Either way, what do you guys think? Is this going to be success, slight failure, or an unmitigated disaster? Anyway, till the next one, stay healthy. Peace.